What's up, Planeswalkers? We are here with our fourth of the Commander Precons from Ikoria 2020. This time it's Kathril Aspect Warper, as you can see by this top card here. When Kathril Aspect Warper enters the battlefield, put a flying counter on any creature you control if a creature card in your graveyard has flying. Repeat this process for First Strike, Double Strike, Death Touch, Hexproof, Indestructible, Lifelink, Menace, Reach, Trample, and Vigilance. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 different possible counters. Neat. Then put a +1/+1 counter on Kathril for each counter put on a creature this way. So you put on 4 counters, Kathril becomes a 7/7. You load Kathril up with them, and Kathril becomes a 7/7 flying double strike, hexproof, blah, 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 blah. So let's put him there. I assume it's a him. It's a bug. I don't think it really matters. This one's purple, which is neat. Seems weird. Maybe, oh, that's what that's for. Okay. Took me a little bit to figure it out. This is always under this. So the pressure of this doesn't mar the top card. That's what it's for. I figured it out. I'm smart. SMRT. All right. So, of course, it comes with tokens in the back there. Interestingly enough, I don't think I've seen... There's a double strike token. Indestructible token. Because this is the only place that I've seen those tokens in use. So that's a thing. Alright. So we have Kathril. We've got the alternate commander. Teum Luminous Enigma. Each other creature you control enters the battlefield with an additional vigilance counter on it. I assume that means that if there is 0 vigilance counters that it enters with, it gains 1. Okay. Tap 3, remove 3 counters from among creatures you control. Put the top 3 cards of your library into your graveyard. Then return a permanent card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. It's interesting. I don't... Except for the fact that counters are a theme, I don't really see how well that plays with Kathril. It's just kind of there. Here's our partners. We have Nakira Lair Scavenger. 2/2 Menace. Whenever another creature you control leaves the battlefield, if it had 1 or more counters on it, you draw a card and lose a life. And then Yannick Scavenging Sentinel, Hyena Beast. 3/3 Vigilance. When Yannick Scavenging Sentinel enters the battlefield, exile another creature you control until Yannick leaves the battlefield. When you do, distribute X +1/+1 counters among any number of target creatures, where X is the exiled creature's power. Cool. Got our tokens, got our crap lands and our tap lands. Some of these are good, some of these are really not, but update the mana base is one of the things that I have complained about on all of them, so... Avenging Huntbonder, 3/3 double strike. Okay, one of the keywords we're looking for. When it attacks, put a double strike counter on another target attacking creature. Okay, neat. Cartographer's Hawk, 2/1 flyer. When it deals combat damage to a player who controls more lands than you, return it to its owner's hand. If you do, you may search your library for a Plains card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. Not terrible. The return to hand is kind of poop, but every other turn. Vitality Hunter is a 3/4 lifelink nightmare. So another of the keywords we're looking for. Flying, lifelink. Monstrosity X. When it becomes monstrous, put a lifelink counter on each of up to X target creatures. So this very much feels like a go wide strategy. Haste. Is haste one of the counters we can do? It is not. Daring Fiend Bonder attacks each combat if able. Exile Daring Fiend Bonder from your graveyard, put an indestructible counter on target creature. Activate this ability only anytime you can cast a sorcery. Less useful, but still nice. Netherborn Altar, put a soul counter on Netherborn Altar, put your commander into your hand from the command zone. Then you lose 3 life for each soul counter on Netherborn Altar. Okay. Obscuring Haze. If you control a commander, you may cast a spell without paying its mana cost. Prevent all damage that will be dealt this turn by creatures your opponents control. Okay, that's neat. Selective Adaptation. You can see that the 2 images are not the same. That's neato. Reveal the top 7 cards of your library for 6. Choose from among them a card with flying, a card with first strike, and so on for double strike, death touch, haste, hexproof, indestructible, lifelink, menace, reach, trample, and vigilance. Put 1 of the chosen cards onto the battlefield, the other chosen cards into your hand, and the rest into your graveyard. Slippery Bog Bonder with a Boggle, a Slippery Boggle. 3/3 flash hexproof. When Slippery Bog Bonder enters the battlefield, put a hexproof counter on target creature. Then move any number of counters from among creatures you control onto that creature. Neat. Nesting Grounds. Move a counter from a target permanent you control onto another target permanent. So counter manipulation. A Chroma Angel of Wrath. That's a reprint. Flying, first strike, vigilance, trample, haste, protection from black and from red. Lots of keywords on that one. Angel of Finality. Enters the battlefield. Exile all cards from target player's graveyard. Cataclysmic Gearhulk. 4/5 Vigilant. Enters the battlefield. Each player chooses an artifact, a creature, an enchantment, and a planeswalker. And everything else gets sacrificed. Each player. That's yucky. Calamity's Captain, 5/5 Vigilant with Monstrosity 3. And when it becomes monstrous, exile all artifacts and enchantments. Odric Lunarch Marshal. So they have the other Odric. The Ruthless Regiment had one of the Odrics. This one has a different one. At the beginning of each combat, creatures you control gain first strike until end of turn. If a creature you control has first strike, same for flying, death touch, double strike, haste, hexproof, indestructible, lifelink, menace, reach, skulk, trample, and vigilance. All about the keywords. Revelark. When it leaves the battlefield, return up to 2 target creature cards with power 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Solemn Recruit, 2/2 double striker. You don't even really care about the revolt, but if it happens, it happens. Sunblast Angel, 4/5 flyer. Enters the battlefield, destroy all tapped creatures. Together Forever. That looks like a Battle Bond card, because that looks like the white and the black like Mender Breaker combo. I think that's the one. Regardless, when Together Forever enters the battlefield, support 2. Tap 1, choose target creature with a counter on it. When that creature dies this turn, record that card to its owner's hand. Well, that's neat. Zetalpa Primal Dawn, that makes sense. Keywords all over the place. Cairn Wanderer, 4/4 Changeling. As long as a creature card with flying is in your graveyard, has flying, and so on and so forth. Ever After, return up to 2 target creature cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Each of those creatures is a black zombie in addition to its other colors and types. Put Ever After on bottom of its owner's library. Alright, Mythic Reprint, Soul of Innistrad, 6/6 Death Touch. Return creatures to your hand and exile them from your graveyard to return creatures to your hand. Soul Flayer, I think that was from Dragons or Cons. I think. Looks a little Oni-like, so it might have been from Kamigawa. Regardless, Delve. If a creature card with flying was exiled, so on and so on and so on. Hornet Queen. It's the Death Hornet! The Murder Hornets! No! 2/2 Flying Death Touch. Enters the battlefield, create 4 1/1 green insect creature tokens. Majestic Myriarch. I love this card. Beginning of each combat, it gains flying. If you control with flying, blah, 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 blah. Splinter Fright, trample. Power and toughness are each equal to the number of creature cards in your graveyard. And at the beginning of your upkeep, put the top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard. Abzan Ascendancy, reprint from, well, somewhere, probably Fate. When it enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. When a non-token creature you control dies, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. Yep, there's an Ajani. I thought I saw him somewhere. He is the Unyielding Ajani. +2, reveal the top 3 cards of your library. Put all non-land permanent cards revealed this way into your hand, the rest on the bottom of your library, in any order. -2, exile target creature. Its controller gains life equal to its power. And -9, his ultimate. Put 5 +1/+1 counters on each creature you control, and 5 loyalty counters on each other planeswalker you control. Archon of Valor's Reach, another with the lots of things. Flying Vigilance Trample. As it enters the battlefield, choose Artifact, Enchantment, Instant, Sorcery, or Planeswalker. Players can't cast spells of the chosen type. So that's gross. Deadbridge Chant. When it enters the battlefield, put the top 10 cards of your library into your graveyard. At the beginning of your upkeep, choose a card at random in your graveyard. If it's a creature card, put it onto the battlefield. Otherwise, put it into your hand. Dune Blast. Choose up to 1 creature, destroy the rest. Karametra, reprint. Isn't she like down to like $4 or $5? Or maybe she's up to $4 or $5. Regardless. 6/7, indestructible. As long as your devotion to green and white is less than 7, she isn't a creature. Whenever you cast a creature spell, you may search your library for a forest or plains card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. Mimic Vat. Whenever a non-token creature dies, you may exile that card. If you do, return each other card exiled with Mimic Vat to its owner's graveyard. Create a token that's a copy of a card exiled with Mimic Vat. It gains haste. Exile it at the beginning of the next end step. Exile the token, I assume. Canopy Vista, Caves of Koilos, Exotic Orchard, Gavany Township, Grim Backwoods, Sungrass Prairie, Blighted Woodland, Command Tower, Golgari Rot Farm, Decent Lands. There's the Bonders, the Arcane Signet, the Commander's Sphere that's going to get replaced because it's garbage, Sol Ring. I say garbage, it's not really garbage. If artifact strategy is important to you, that's great. Otherwise, there are better ways to get mana, especially in green. Swiftfoot Boots, Blood Curdle, destroy target creature, put a menace counter on a creature you control. Neat. Unbreakable Bond, Void Beckoner. This is the Death Corona. Alternate would be the Void Beckoner. Titanoth Rex. Martial Impetus. Parasitic Impetus. Predatory Impetus. Aerial Responder, just in there for the keywords. Unburial Rites. Bring creatures back. Vampire Nighthawk, again for the keywords. Slime. I mean, there's some destruction, but Death Touch cultivates a better ramp spell. Harmonize is... it's alright. I mean, if you're not playing blue, this is a good way to draw cards. Sakura Tribelder, Satyr Wayfinder, Skullwinder, Abzan Charm, Deathspout good, Despark good, Grizzly Salvage, Nyx Weaver. I just like that art. It's super neat. Overall, I like the idea behind this deck, but it just kind of feels like a bunch of stuff crammed together because they have keywords. I mean, it's like, we're going to have a bunch of keywords and do a bunch of keyword stuff. I think that we could probably build a better version of this. Something a bit more cohesive. I really won't know until I get a chance to actually try out the deck against an opponent that is of interest to fighting me. Someone who's who knows what they're kind of doing and does their job well. But yep, I think I like this a little better than Enhanced Evolution, but not by a lot. So I've got one left to go, and then I will do another video at some point after I've kind of play tested them a little bit and I figure out which one I like best. Maybe we'll do some upgrade videos. Take the things that are there and make them better. What cards we need to add to it. So until next time, Planeswalkers, I will see you in the next video.